Okay, so welcome to the Christmas wind down. In 28 days, we are going to build our second brain. We're going to apply the principles of getting things done. And we're going to use these tools to reverse engineer our ideal Christmas. Okay, so for the next 7 days, we're going to go through from November 20 to 26, and we're going to just really start thinking what can Christmas look like for us this year? And that's going to help us understand what we need to do in order to prepare. And because this is the first day, what we really need to start thinking about is what our intentions are. And then based on these intentions, we need to set up some basic affirmations, which are sort of like philosophical parameters for us to work within. So the first step is simply to set the right intentions and to have a clear affirmation of what it is we want to achieve by the end of this. And this being the first day, all we want to really achieve today is to start getting ourselves into the right frame of mind. We want to set our intentions really clear and then have a broad philosophical view of what it is we want to achieve by the end. Okay, and this can culminate in us setting some kind of affirmations, something that we are committing ourselves to so that we can live in line with that vision. Okay, so when we're setting intentions or creating affirmations, we want to really clearly begin with the end in mind. And this doesn't mean we want to paint a really rigid concrete structure for us to conform to, because this can create attachments and this can provide us with a template that is too rigid that if it doesn't happen exactly perfectly, then we can feel like we're cheated or we've missed out or what we wanted to happen hasn't quite happened. So instead of thinking of exactly what we want to have and all these specific ideas, we actually want to be quite creative and broad. So we want to focus on the kinds of feelings and emotions that are important to us. So we need to have some kind of affirmation or intentions that focus more on the kinds of energy and emotions and feelings we want to inculcate within ourselves in order to have the kind of result that we desire. Okay, so our intention should be to begin with the end in mind. So start thinking about how our Christmas can look or what kinds of frame of mind, state of mind we can be in. And then we want to be creative and broad and make sure that we're capturing as much of that, the essence, the emotional and make sure we're catching as much of that emotional essence as possible. We want to avoid focusing on particular things. So it's not like I want this for Christmas and I want that for Christmas. It's more, how do I want to be on Christmas? What kind of emotions do I want to have? What kinds of feelings are associated with the kinds of Christmas that is ideal or perfect for me? And what kind of emotions are involved when I feel this way and when I'm doing the things that I like doing? By doing this, by focusing more on the emotions and on the feelings, we can start to resonate with those emotions from today. And this is a really important thing to understand, is that in order for us to bring something into existence, we first need to enter that emotional state. And what happens is when we're in a certain emotional state, the things in the world start reflecting back at us how we feel. Not necessarily how we think, but how we feel. And we all know this is true. For instance, if I walk out my front door and I've got a furrowed brow and I'm sort of aggressive or angry to people as I meet them in the world, well, then clearly what I'm going to get back in terms of emotional energy is that exact same thing. So if I'm walking around angry and frustrated and blaming and pointing fingers and being upset with people, well, guess what? That emotional energy is going to come straight back to me. And then I'm going to think it's the world that's the problem and not me. In exactly the same way, if I start to cultivate feelings of gratitude and enjoyment and pleasure and selflessness, and I start projecting that out into the world, then the world starts to look like a much more enjoyable, happier, more beautiful place. And so what we want to do is, by beginning with the end in mind, we want to start thinking about we want to start cultivating the kinds of emotions that are valuable to us so that we can start embodying them now and maximize the feedback loop over the course of the next month to ensure that we are resonating at a particular vibe. And we can start to then take actions that are aligned with that emotional valence. Okay. So by being creative, by beginning with the end in mind, by being creative, by focusing on feelings rather than particular facts or outcomes, and by starting to cultivate certain emotions, we will turn those into their physical equivalent. Okay, so this is the first step in reverse engineering the future, is to start tuning our body and tuning our mind to the type of emotion, the type of frame of mind that we want to have in order to have the kind of outcome that we want. Because the thing is, if we cultivate those emotions, we can have the simplest, barest, we don't have to have anything material to make sure that we actually get what we want. If we're focusing on cultivating emotions and cultivating feelings, these are the things that we can control. We can't necessarily control the weather on the day or who turns up or what kind of gifts we get or whatever. And focusing on the things that we can't control is a sure way to feel disappointed, because we're attached to a certain outcome, and therefore we feel unsatisfied if that outcome doesn't happen. But by cultivating certain emotions and certain feelings, there's no way that we can lose, because these are the things that we can control. And so when I say reverse engineering our perfect Christmas, I'm not talking about getting the things that we want. I'm talking about becoming the person we want, so that no matter where we are, no matter what situation we're in, we're satisfied, we're happy, because we've designed that for ourselves. So that's really important. The first thing is intentions. Now, it's really helpful if we have a set of affirmations. This is something that we can repeat to ourselves consistently over a period of time. And by repeating this daily or twice daily, what we're doing is we are self-suggesting these kinds of emotions to our unconscious mind. And then as we move about our day, as we go through the world, we start to look for opportunities to align our behavior and outcomes with these affirmations and these intentions. Okay, so for instance, I might say, come Christmas, I want to be fully relaxed and restful. I want to make sure that everything that needs doing by Christmas gets done. I want to manage my energy. I want to be organized ahead of time. I will create a relaxed Christmas for myself and for those that I love. I will come rested and excited to bring in the new year. And on December 25th, I'm going to be more relaxed, calmer, and more collected than any Christmas I've had before. And so what I can do is I can take these affirmations and I can repeat these to myself every single day. And I can start to cultivate a feeling of relaxation. I can start to cultivate the emotions of calmness, relaxation, excitement, being well rested. These are the things that I can control. And by affirming this to myself over and over, this is what I want. I want relaxation and rest. I want organization and productivity. I want my energy managed. I want to be, by the time Christmas comes around, I want to be ready to enjoy the day with my family, with people that matter most to me. Okay? So this is a really important thing to understand. We're trying to cultivate emotions. We're trying to cultivate energy. We're trying to cultivate a frame of mind that is completely independent of circumstances like what happens on the day, what the weather is like, who is there, other people's emotions. We're cultivating for ourselves a set of emotions and a set of guidelines that we can suggest to ourselves that we can bring into existence. Okay? So I know this may be somewhat surprising to some people, because you'd think that to reverse engineer Christmas the way we want it, we would start thinking of what we're going to do on the day, who's going to be there, what kinds of things we want to get, what decorations, and that will come. That's going to be a part of the planning process. But the vision should be one based on the kind of feelings we want to have, the kind of emotions we want to have on the day. Okay? So tomorrow, what we're going to start to look at is the big picture stuff. We're going to start to design from patterns to details. We're going to start thinking about the kinds of things. We're going to start to get a little bit more concrete. So first, we have started to think about the kind of emotions and feelings. And tomorrow, we're going to start to look at the big picture details, the patterns of our life that we want to bring into existence.